Yo, YouTube, Chooch here, right back at you for some more straight talk. A little bit of outside work talk, a little bit inside work talk. I gotta say, yes, I am highly disappointed by all three of my local sports teams. The Eagles just, you know, didn't do it, and the Phillies almost did it. That was just a bad way to end it. If you saw it, you know what happened. I don't want to go through it again. And Flyers, I have love for, but baseball, football, basketball, hockey is kind of my order. So, yeah, that is what it is. We'll get through it. I'll still, hey, much love to the Midnight Green Wall and Mr. Barkley over there. And I say, this like I said, this is a lot of years to bring all this together, and the good fellas, of course, you got to have them in there. So, um, okay, let's talk shop here. Let's talk carriers. I said what I said the other day. I gave a little descriptive talk about current situation, current feeling on the post office. A lot of people responded. Kind-heartedly. Of course, there's one or two that might have said something. Hey, that's part of the deal. If there's a negative comment to make, you didn't like what I said, so be it. But for the most part, I believe that JH, like I said, always inspires me. And anybody who should take a note from doing this would say, I got to watch that guy so I can do what I can do. Now, of course, him and I have, different personalities, different way we talk, different way we, speak to the camera, aggression levels, but in the end, he's my friend for life, and he's going to be my friend for life. And he's an inspirer day in and day out. And that inspiration not only reflects by me coming on here, it also, again, is a huge changer for me in how I approach going into work and how I approached being a carrier and how I'm, like I said, you deal with situations in this place. You can go long, long periods of time and never deal with anything. You can keep your head down and you can accept that futility rules the post office, or you could say, I'm going to wake the hell up and I'm going to do something to change this culture, whether it reaches, just down the street in my station, or whether it reaches far to you guys and says, hey, we can be doing more. We could be, learning more, and we could be better. So that's what JH does. And, again, I'm dying for him to get back on and do his thing. But in the meantime, I have to wish him my best as he is dealing with loss. And he put his father to rest today. So may he rest in peace. JH's father. I don't want to say his name, obviously, but a great man who produced another great man. So that's essentially where you think to yourself where it all begins in life, and where you're working day in, day out, and you're saying to yourself, why does a problem arise in a workplace when you say to yourself, I know I'm putting forth my best effort. I know I'm doing my work diligently. I know there's nothing that could be construed as, behavior unbecoming to being a postal worker. Now, I can say that, and go to bed at night and wake up happy every day. And I will do that until the end of time, because, a day can go by where you can be really down and out. And then you can wake up the next day and you can have just a short period of time to have a situation unfold, kind of like it did today. And while I can't get into specifics, I can just say that that short 15-minute period of time made me probably the happiest guy that I could ever be, the happiest male carrier and father and husband and friend and helper to you guys, to say that when you're put to the test and things are done to, you know, there's a lot of spin to a story. There's a lot of, there's two sides to a story, and there's rules, regulations that have to be followed. And since you're the worker, since I'm the worker, it's expected that you do that, you honor your work. But you say to yourself, well, that doesn't just mean me, that means everybody. That means the people who, you know, give the orders, as well as the people who take the orders, should all be following the same protocol, correct? So, 2 + 2 = 4, right? But in the post office, everybody knows that things don't seem to really translate that way a lot. And that's fine. And that's fine. You have to wake up every day as a carrier who is diligent at their work, cares about their work, who wants this place to be better, who wants to have something to show for this at the end. And I could backtrack to the unfortunate setup of the post office since Table 2 came along. I am praying for everyone. Table 1, Table 2, Table 3, Table 4, everybody, that something better is coming soon, monetarily and benefit-wise. I know we just heard health premiums are going to go up. That's awful. So you need more money to counter that, plain and simple. Postal management, we know you know this. Union leadership, we think you know this. We're not really good with the current setup, so we need some new blood in there. There are people, that are trying to become new blood, like Cariff. Excuse me, James Henry. That cough wasn't timed to sound like anything erratic. That was just me coughing. Like Cariff, best wishes to you. James Henry, best wishes to you, and may the most worthy person take over as our new president. I have no opinion on the matter, as I am still making up my mind, but I will support people who are, trying to put together, building a fighting NALC. Those guys, fantastic what they're doing. There is a Zoom meeting happening on this Sunday about, trying to create a chance that we could strike. Also, that the pay scale to get the top pay rate would be 6 years instead of 11, 12, I think now. So there's a lot of good things being done. I'm just one person amongst others who, like I said, speak on behalf of ourselves, not the post office, who care that a better life is made for everybody, not just us older guys that have been around for a while and obviously have been a little more blessed than the newer employees. But I don't say that with any maliciousness. I say that as to say, I can't do anything about when I was hired. I was lucky, and I say luck has a big part to play in a lot of my life, and I never take that for granted. I said I always do everything as smart. I'm very frugal, but I do like, the idea that I can treat myself and my family to things, but at the same time, I always think like the bottom's going to drop out. There's a very worrisome kind of there's a very worrisome kind of way with the Italians, and I don't know if other cultures are like this. I'm sure they are, but like we worry a lot about things that you shouldn't have to worry about. Sometimes, people might go to see Dr. Melfi, like Tony Soprano did, but that was fiction. So you would never usually think you'd see a mob boss going to talk to a therapist. Nonetheless, that show was one of the greatest shows ever made. But, I don't talk to therapists. Sometimes people might recommend EAP to go talk to. I don't know if that's more just like a bulletin board thing or if it's actually helpful. But like I said, I let my work do the talking. This is my therapy, talking to you guys, seeing my kids on a normal basis rather than being at work thousands of hours, forced against my will. I see my kids. So I'm grateful for that we're in a better situation hourly wise. But the situation of micromanaging and, painting pictures of carriers doing things against the grain when they know they're doing their job correctly, and you're more or less coerced into believing you're not. I don't even want to say coerced. It's just to say that everyone has a job to do. Like, everyone has a right to do their job, but it has to be like inside those guidelines of those handbooks we have. And it's almost shameful, like, to say that, while you're expected to follow it as the worker, it seems like it's tossed out the door. Like, I heard somebody say in the comments that their postmaster said that they wiped their ass with the contract. Let that sink in. Was that made up? Did that person just, say that for shits and giggles? I believe a postmaster might have said that somewhere. I've never heard any postmaster or supervisor ever say something that harsh. So, but I got to say this: if I sound like I'm being malignant towards any management, that's not the case at this point. In past and present times, I've had my feelings on the whole thing, but bottom line is that I know what I'm doing around here, and I don't feel like I ever need to be managed, handled, or bothered. I just know the routine front to back. Obviously, if I have to have my time managed, because I'm, not on a certain overtime list, and I'm just looking to do the standard schedule, then yeah, okay, things have to be worked out fairly and agreeably, and you have to factor in reality, not just computerized data. It has to be reality. A mail carrier steps out of those walls of the station, traverses many miles in some cases, 20. He stops and dismounts the vehicle 200 to 300 times a day. They handle curbside. They might handle park and loop, business hop outs, busy two-way intersections. Busy could be the busiest road in town. Stoplights, bus stops, children, slow-moving townhome areas where you can't exceed a certain limit, speed humps, little old ladies that might need a hand taking a bag out of the truck. These are all human factors that are a part of your everyday life as a carrier. And they can't just simply be tossed out to say that, you need to hit your quota because you showed you can continuously, or you showed that this particular day you can hit your quota, then why couldn't you do it another day? I'm done listening to that. There is no there's this demonstrated performance thing. I talked about that before, and I'll talk about it again. It's not in the book. It's a tool, and it's a very ineffective tool. What you need is dignified, solid proof that a carrier is doing something wrong. You can't just take computer data. You got to see it with your own eyes. You got to be there with the carrier. And maybe some carriers don't want management to be by the, and spying on them, because maybe, God forbid, you might be doing something wrong. You might be doing something against the grain. But if you know what you know and you do what you do, you don't have nothing to worry about. Everything should be approached with professionalism. But if you are met with criticism or accusations, yeah, you have to go to your union. You have to keep your cool, answer the questions, and continue on with your daily life, being better and doing better. That's what I choose to do. That's what I'm going to do. And to say that, like, there was a very bothersome thing going on up here, and a very, like, man, like, because I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm just not that person that could say, F that, I don't care. Again, integrity means everything to me. So if somebody is questioning my integrity, you are going to lose. And I said, that's not a threatening statement. That's just saying you will be proven wrong every time. So why bother? But unfortunately, that's what happens in this place. And you know what? Have at it. I continually say, you know, it's pointless. But, you know, again, if this is how the system is being designed and built to continue, and we don't show our power and our rights to practice as workers under a contract with a union that we pay to work for us when we need them. I will say that, you know, for years I said I felt like I never needed the union. And I could still say realistically that I wouldn't even have to make a call to them unless these protocols had to be followed. I understand that, like, you know, when you sign that dotted line to take the job, you become essentially a product of that company. But you also say, I swear to defend the mail and take care of the mail and serve the customer. Who do I work for? I work for the American citizens. I don't work for the United States Postal Service. I don't work for the person that, you know, gives me instruction. I work for the United States of America, the people. Salute. So that's it's about as long as I talked yesterday, so I think I'll stop there. But I really, really, really appreciate the response yesterday, and I hope that people continue to get the message, ask me some questions. Me and Mailman Nick, we're going to do a little bit of talking. I hope you guys will tune into that. We'll get some word out on that. And of course, when JH returns, always going to be, you know, him in the lead and us, you know, helping out wherever he needs me to help out. And obviously he's been helping to support me, and I'm going to do the same for him, because it's ride or die at this point, and I'm here for I'm going the distance. I'm going to make it, and I want you guys to make it. Those of you who are doing it right, those of you who care. Still saying we got problems with this, like, you know, doing stuff on social media while in the truck, on camera. I saw a supervisor and a worker dancing in the office on a TikTok. No good. Sorry. Whoever you are, it's dumb, and it should be, you know, whatever. You know, whoever wants to do something about it, you should do something about it. Whoever's in control of that, OIG, upper management, I mean, you know, union, you should be saying something. Knock it off. This is the place to do it. Off the clock. Out of uniform. Confines of your own space. This is my own opinion, and I don't speak on behalf of the United States Postal Service. That's how you start it, and that's how I'll end it. Thanks for listening, and if you made it to the end, tell me if you like pineapple on your pizza or not. That's for you, Eli. All right, talk to you soon. Thanks again, everybody. Peace.